So, hello everyone. We are back with another session of ours. So, yesterday, previous sessions, we are done with speed, time, and distance. Now we are progressing with ratio and proportion. So, let me not wait for more, and let's start. So, here is ratio and proportion. Many a times people may ask you what exactly is ratio and proportion, or how would you be measuring the quantities, how and what is present in the solution and in what proportion. So every solution or everything, whichever is there in the world, is made with some ratio and some proportion of it. There has to be some ratio and proportion to create a mixture, and that's how we do it. But in mathematics, there is something very different, not so much different, but yeah, I mean it's different. Okay, so ratio, what exactly does the ratio means? When two or more similar quantities are compared, and then to represent this comparison, ratios are used. Now, the way we have the way we used to make a tea, or still we are making teas. How? So we add some sugar, we add some salt, we add some water, and that too in some proportion. We cannot add everything into it and with with measure proportions, because that might lose the taste of that. So for that reason, it has to be some. It actually has to have some ratios, and then only one can go ahead with the good proportion or good quantity or quality. Okay, or you can even call the ratio of two quantities is nothing but the number of times one quantity contains another quantity of the same kind. Okay, so like mixture and mixture of water and milk. So there is also some ratio and proportion are there. I mean, if 30% is milk, 30% of milk is there, then one may add 20% of milk, 20% of water into it to make 50% of the ratio, and like proportion has to be 50% or something. So yeah, I mean that's how we do it. Ratio between x and y can be presented as x is to y, wherein x is nothing but the antecedent which comes the first, and y is nothing but the consequent which comes later. So we can write it as x by y or x is to y. What are the different types of ratios? There are different types of ratios wherein duplicate ratios are there, and just to duplicate the ratio, we have to do the square of the ratios. If at all we are doing the square of any ratio, then it will create the duplicate of it. Okay, and now subduplicate ratio, as you can see on the screen, subduplicate ratio is nothing but the root of that ratio. The same ratio x is to y would be there, but then you'll be taking the roots of it. So that is nothing but the subduplicate ratio, and duplicate ratio is the just the square of the ratios x is to y, and when you need to find the duplicate ratio, you just need to do the squares of it. Now, what all? So, triplicate ratios are there. Triplicate ratio is nothing but the cube of that ratio. Okay, triplicate ratio is the cube of that ratio, and sub-triplicate ratio is the cube root of that ratio. Once you are done with cube roots and cubes, you'll get your triplicate and sub-triplicate ratios. So that is why we note it down as the types of ratio. Now there are ratios which are related with the invertendo and inverts of the ratio. So that's here. Okay, if the ratio is x is to y, then you just need to reverse that. That means you need to just take the inverse of the ratio, that is y is to x. And that's how you'll get the inverse of some ratio. Then compound ratio. If there are two or more ratios given, then what all you need to do is you just need to multiply all the antecedents and the consequence. Okay, you just need to do one thing, that you need to multiply the consequence and antecedents. That means if you're having A is to B, C is to D, and E is to F are the ratios, then what all you need to do is A is to C is to ACE is to BDF. Okay, similarly, if you have two ratios, that is A is to B and C is to D, then you'll again multiply antecedents and consequence. So it would be AC is to BD. Now let's just move a little more ahead and find the comparison of ratios, wherein if A is to B are the ratios given and C is to D are also given, then in that case what will happen? So if A is to B is greater than C is to D, then what all will be the thing, that AD means the like extremes. Okay, A and D are nothing but the extremes, and B and C are nothing but the means. So it will be multiplying the extremes and the means. If we will be getting after multiplying, if we'll get AD, that means extremes greater than the means, then the ratio is greater. Okay, now look at this again. A is to B is lesser than C is to D. How would you be finding this? If your extremes are less than your means, then C is to D will be more, like C is to D will be greater. Okay, and if you need to equalize both of them, then what all you need to do is A is to D, that means again antecedent and consequence we have to consider, but we have to take the multiplies of extremes and the means. So that's how, if those are equal, then the ratios are equal. Okay, now look at this. This is the very first example which comes in your way, which is greater, 5 by 8 or 9 by 14. So you have to find this out. So let's just find this out, how we should find it. Okay, so here what all things are given? 5 is to 5 by 8 and 9 by 14 are two different ratios given. So in that case, look, we will be doing one thing, that whether we can equalize the mean, okay, whether we can equalize the means, or whether we can do one thing, which is just finding the ratios of, I mean, after equalizing. Okay, see, again, as in we were doing the same thing. Now look at this. It is A by B, if I'll write. This will become 5 by 8, and C by D is nothing but 9 by 14. Okay. Now, next thing, let's do multiplication of extremes. AD is equal to 5 into 14, which will give me answer as 70. And CBC is equal to 8 into 9, which is equal to 72. C. Now what are we getting? We are getting BC greater than AD. So that means, I'll be just copying this and writing this down. And look at this. We are getting this equation, I mean this ratio, that, which is showing us that AD are greater than BC. So that means we can, undoubtedly we can say that C by D is greater than A by B. So okay, 9 by 14 is greater than C by D. sorry, A by B. Now let's move a little more ahead and look at this. If there are two ratios given for comparison, if there are two different ratios given for comparison, then convert each of the ratios in such a way that both the ratios will have same denominator. Okay, two different ratios are given in the question. What all you need to do is you need to equalize the denominators, and you need to compare their numerators. Whatever fraction will have a greater numerator will be greater ratio, and whatever fraction will have a lesser numerator will be the lesser ratio. Okay, so let's try an example of it. Here is the example, and let me just put it down and let's just start. Okay, now, okay, just to equalize both of them, I mean, denominators we have to equalize. Okay, we have to get same denominator, 3 and 5. So let's do one thing. 2 into 5 by 3 into 5, which will get us the answer as 10 by 15. And for the next ratio, 4 into 3, just to equalize the denominator, and 5 is already there, so we have to multiply it by 3. So 5, okay, that's how we are doing it. And now, okay, let's just equalize this. This will be 12 by 15. Okay, 12 by 15 is what we have got. So now, look at these. We have got 10 by 15, which is equal to 12 by 15. Okay, so now if which is not equal to 12 by 15, but if we'll be comparing it, then we have to equalize them. So now look at this. 12 by 15 is a bit greater than this thing. So as in 12 is greater than 10, so that this ratio, okay, this ratio, that is 12 by 15, is greater. So now 12 by 15 is of what? 4 is to 5. So simply our 4 is to 5 are greater than 4 is to 5 are greater than 2 is to 3. 2 is to 3. Okay, so now this is the another rule. Now rule number 3 says, now here is the rule number 3, and which, I mean, just a moment. Rule number 3 says, if again two ratios are given for the comparison, you need to make them in such a way that their numerators will be equal, and you need to convert them in such a way that the numerators will be equal, and then you need to compare the denominators. Whichever denominator will have a lesser, I mean, whichever fraction will have a lesser denominator, that will be greater, and whichever will have greater denominator will be lesser. Okay, so now let's get on to the example which is based here. Okay, now let's just look at these things. This question says find the least fraction between 6 by 7 and 7 by 9. Okay, now let's convert their numerators in such a way that you will get their numerators equal. So 6 and 7. 6 multiplied by 7 by 7 multiplied by 7. This will get me answer as 42 by 49. And another one, now let's multiply this with 6 by 9 by 6, which is equal to 49, sorry, 42 divided by 54. Okay, now look at this. Here we have got this, like, uh, as in we just can see this ki that numerators are quite equal now, and the one which is having lesser denominator is 42 by 49, and the another one which is having a greater denominator is 42 by 54. So the fraction which is having lesser denominator will be greater, as in they are saying, so that the 6 by 7 wala jo ratio, sorry, 6 by 7 ratio is greater than the one which is there. Okay, now let's see how. 42 by 49 is greater than 42 by 54. So that is why 6 by 7 is greater than 7 by 9. Simply. Okay. Now let's move a little more ahead with what is proportion. Okay. Now proportion is nothing but the the equality of two ratios, wherein you are equalizing the ratios and you are making the proportion out of it. So that would be equalizing ratios. Now let's see. An equality of two ratios is called proportion. If A by B is equal to C by D, or A is to B is equal to C is to D, then we can say that A, B, C, D are in proportion, and can be written as A is to B as C is to D, where symbol double colon represents proportion, and it is read as A is to B as C is to D. Okay. Now, A and B are called extremes, and B and C are called means. So this is how the case is, wherein if two ratios are given and those are equalized, so then we have to say that they both of them are equal, or maybe both of them are in proportion. Okay, you might have seen this many a times with our analogy thing. So it's just similar to analogy. Okay, and A and D, as in I was telling you, those are called extremes, and B and C are means. Okay, so now let's move a little more ahead with the basic rules of proportion, and here are the rules. Rule number one, which says if A is to B as B is to C, then C is called the third proportional. C will be a third proportional to A and B, which are continued in proportion, which are in continued proportion. Okay. Now C will be calculated as A is to B as B is to C. Then A is to B is equal to B is to C. A into C, and B into B, as in we multiply extremes and means. So now B square is equal to 80 AC we have got, and just to get C, so C will be B square by A. So that will be your third proportional. So how to find this third proportional and what exactly needs to be done? Let us get to an example and let's find it out. Okay. Calculate the third proportional to 16 and 32. Okay. Now 16 and 32 are A's and B's. Now we have to calculate our third proportional. That means we have to do some multiplication thing over here. So I'd say A is 16 and B is equal to 32. Okay. Now let's do one more thing. Our ratios were A is to B, Okay, A is to B is equal to B is to C. So now let's do one thing. Now AC is equal to B square. Now AC is equal to B square. Now, as in we need to find a C, that means third proportion. So we'll be doing C is equal to by A, which is equal to B square by A. B square means 32. We have to do the square of 32 by A, that is 16. Now, if we'll be doing this, 32's square is 32's square is nothing but, just a moment, it's 1024. Okay, it's 1024 divided by 16. So 1024 divided by 16, you will get answer as 64. Okay, so your answer is 64. So 64 would be the mean, the third proportional of this A and B, 16 and 32. Okay, now let's move a little more ahead and now C. If A is to B is to C as C is to D, then D is called fourth proportional. And again, how to find it? AD into BC. AD into BC will be there. And to find D, we have to do BC by A. Okay. So now let's move to the example and let's find it out. Find this out. Okay. Now, okay. Here it is. We are at this place. And D was is equal to BC by A, which is now equal to BC here 7 into 9 by 6. 7 nines are 63 divided by 6. Okay. Sorry, 3. It's 3. I'm really sorry. 63 divided by 3 will give you answer as 21. Okay, so 21 threes are 63. So this is the only answer which is there. Now, as in D, we were supposed to find, so we have calculated it in a direct manner. We didn't do this is A, this is B, this is C, and that's how we have done it. Okay, so I believe now let's move to rule number 3, which is there. So, rule number 3 says if A and B are given, so mean proportional between A and B is root AB. If the mean proportional is X, then AX is to XB, which is equal to A into B and X square. So X square is equal to AB. And to find the X, we have to take the root of A and B. And that's how we find the mean proportional. Now let's get on to the example and find this out. Now look, 4 and 25 are given. So let's directly find this out. X is equal to root. So I'll just take this root symbol from here and we'll just, okay. So now root A and B, that means 4 into 25, which is again equal to 4 into 25 is nothing but 100, which is nothing but 10. So mean proportional between 4 and 25 is 10. 4 into 25 are 100. So, okay. So yeah. Let's move a little more ahead with some other concepts which are invertendo, componendo, dividendo, alternando. Now let's go ahead. If A by B is equal to C by D, then invertendo will become B by A is equal to D by C, as in we are invertending the ratios, inversing the ratios. Now alternando will be A by C is equal to B by D. Okay, so now here antecedents and consequence are different. So it will become both of antecedents will come together and both of consequence will go together. Now let's go to componendo. So componendo will have A plus B by B and D plus C plus D by D. Now dividendo will have A minus B by B and C minus D by D. Componendo and dividendo, combination of both of them. So here it will become A plus B by A minus B is equal to C plus D by C minus D. And if A by B is equal to C by D is equal to I by J is to K, and if all are equal to K, then A plus C plus I plus J plus whatever it is by B plus D plus J plus N is will be equal to K only. So these are direct formulas. I'll be sharing the list of formulas by the end. Okay. Now find the value of A plus B by A minus B if A by B is 5 by 3. Now here we need to find componendo and dividendo. Now by componendo and dividendo, what will be there? Let's see. Componendo and dividendo are equal to A. Let's just find out. A by B is equal to 5 by 3. So let's move a little more ahead. Componendo and dividendo will be A plus B by A minus B. So here it will become 5 plus 3 by 5 minus 3, which will be equal to 8 by 2, which is equal to now 4. 4 by 1. Rather, we can write this because we need to get the equation or the ratio out of it, get the fraction out of it, so that 4 by 1. Now let's move to another example. This is the example which says 3 by 2 is equal to 8 by 12 is equal to 24 or 24 by 16 is equal to alpha. Then find the value of alpha. Now we have to find the value of k, wherein it was like A by B is equal to C by D is equal to I by J and so on. So now what we have done here is k is equal to A plus C plus I divided by B plus D plus J. B plus D plus J. This is what we have done previously also. So now let's move a little more ahead and put the values of 3 plus 18 plus 24 divided by 2 plus 12 plus 16, which is now equal to 45 divided by 30. which is equal to 3 by 2. And that 3 by 2 is nothing but the alpha. Now 3 by 2 is nothing but the alpha, so I'll be just taking this alpha here. So yeah, and that's how it is. That's it. This is the only ratio, or maybe what I can say. Yes, this is the only ratio. Okay, now let's move a little more ahead and get on to the another example which is there. Okay, now this says if A is to B is 5 is to 14 and B is to C is 7 is to 3, then find A is to B is to C. Now we have to find A is to B is to C. So let's do one thing. Okay, if there is something like this ever in your way, so then you need to do one thing, that is you need to multiply. I mean, you need to equalize all both of the B's. Equalize both of the B's together, and that's how you'll be getting your answer. So let's do this thing. As in, we will be doing one thing. A and B are already 5 is to 14. So now let's do one thing, that let's make this B as 14. So A by B is equal to, now this is the equation. I mean, these are the fractions. Now let's make this as 14 by 6. 14 by 6. I've just multiplied this with 2, which is again, okay. So yes, that's it. Okay, now let's do one thing. Now A is to B is to C will be equal to 5 is to 14 is to 6. That's all. What we have done here is we have just equalized the B's out of it, and that's how we got the answer. That's it. This is the only answer. Now look at this, which says the ratio of A is to B is equal to 1 is to 3, B is to C is 2 is to 5, and C is to D is 2 is to 3. So then find the value of A is to B is to C is to D. Okay. Now let's do one thing, that equalizing, yes, we have to equalize all of them. A by B, we have to, this is 1 by 3. Okay. B is to C is 2 by 5. C is to D is 2 by 3. Okay, now let's do one more thing. Now let's, when you're equalizing all of them together, then we have to multiply all of them together. Now let's do how. One, here it is 2 and here it is 3. So we have to multiply it by 2. 2 by 6. Here it will become 3. So 6 by 15. Now we have to do this thing again. Sorry. Now again we have to equalize both of them. So let's do one thing. Just a moment. Okay. So now let's do one more thing. Look at this. This is if I'll be equalizing. So then what exactly is happening over here? Like I can equalize B, but what about C? Because C is 5 here and C is here too. So then you have to do one thing. Okay? Now just to equalize all of them, I'll be telling you an example. Like I'll be telling you something and you'll always follow that. Okay? So, okay. So now let's follow. Here, if at all you have equations like this and you have to find A is to B is to C is to D, then ACE is to BDE, sorry, BCE is to BDE and DDF. Now, what is A and B and C and D and E and F again? So, these are A is to B. Okay. Now, these are again are equal to E is to C, and these are nothing but, sorry, these are C and D, and these are nothing but E is to F. That's it. Now let's do. Okay. Now A into C into E is 1 into 2 into 2. 1 into 2 into 2 are 4. Okay. Now BCE. B is 3 into 2. 3 into 2 is, okay, so we are back because there was some issue with the laptop and it went on hibernate, so the recording has stopped. But now let's move a little more ahead. Okay, so here is the thing which we were doing, which we were supposed to do. Now look at this: B, C, and E. B is 3, C is 2, and 2. 2 and 2 are 4. 4 into 3 is 12. Okay, now the third one, BDE. B, D, and E. B into D is 3, and 3 into 5 is 15. 15 into 2 is nothing but 30. So here it is 30, and B, BDF. BDF is 3 into 5 into 3. 9 fives are 45. So 45. So that's how we have solved this equation. We have solved this question, and finally we have got the answer for 4 and for A is to B is to C is to D. Okay, let's move a little more ahead. Now here is another example. So this example says divide the ratio, divide 1111 in the ratio of 8 is to 3. Now 1111 is in the ratio of 8 by 3. So how? Look at this. I'll just write, I'll just make it as in parts, okay? In parts. So let me just call this first part as 8x and second part as 3x. Okay, first part is 8x and second part is 3x. Okay, so that means this number, this entire number is nothing but 8x plus 3x is equal to 1111. Okay, so now look at this. How will we be doing this? How will we be doing this one? Okay, I'll just erase this and let's move a little more ahead. Now, as in 8x plus 3x is equal to 1111. So this will become 11x is equal to 1111. Now, x is equal to 1111 divided by 11, which will give me answer as 101. That's it. So your first part is now 8x. That is equal to 8 into 101, which is equal to 808. And second part is equal to 3x, which is now equal to 3 into 101, which is equal to 303. And if we'll be adding 808 plus 303, we will get our answer as 1111. Okay. So wherever there is a question, there are such questions which are which are asking you to find the parts of something. You have to do it this way only. You have to do it. This is the only way to do such kinds of ratios. I mean, dividing some number into some ratios. So this is the only way. Okay. Now let's move little more ahead. Now look at this. Divide 2324 in the ratio of 35 is to 28 is to 20. Now 35x plus 28x plus 20x is equal to 2324. Now, after adding all of them, we have got our answer as 35 plus 28 plus 20. Let's add all of them. It's 83. Okay, 83x is equal to 2324. Now, okay, so let's get ahead and let's find this out. Okay, so here it will become x is equal to 2324 divided by 83, which is again equal to 28. Okay, now 28. So 35 into 28 is equal to 35 into 28 is equal to 980. 28 into 28 is equal to 784 because it's the square of 24, and 20 into 28 is equal to 560. So as in 980 plus 784 plus 560 will give me answer as 2324. That's it. So we have found all the parts of it. Okay, so this is your first part, this is second part, and this is third part. Okay, now let's move a little more ahead and find out this equation, this question. The sum of three numbers is 315. The ratio of first and second number is 2 is to 3. And second and third number is 4 is to 5. Then find the second number. Now we have to equalize. Okay, so let's do one thing. A is to B is equal to 2 is to T, and B is to C is equal to 4 is to 5. Now here, let's do one thing. Let's multiply this with 4. This will become 8 is to 12. And this will become 12 is to 15. Okay. So what we have done? We have multiplied it with 4. And we have multiplied this one with, okay. So we have equalized B and C. So now let's do one thing. The first part would be 8x plus 12x plus 15x is equal to 315. Okay. Let's find out the value of x. 8 plus 15 plus 12. 8 plus 12 plus 15 is 35. X is equal to 315. Now, x is equal to, I'll directly write this. X is 9. Okay, now x is equal to 9. So we have to find the second number, which is nothing but 12. So just write this down. Okay, so 12 into 9 is nothing but 108. And that's it. Now let's get on to this example, which says the ratio of incomes of Raman and Gagan is 4 is to 3. Ratio of their expenditures are 3 is to 2. If each person save 2,500, so find their incomes and expenditure. Now here there is something which I should tell you, that we have to do. We have to make sure that we'll be writing all those things whichever are given in the question. Now here 4x minus 2500 y. This is the 4 times of Raman's income, and this much is what he is saving. And after saving, his equation is 3. So that's why. Okay. Now look at this. By 3x minus 2500. This is of Gagan. So now it has become 3 by 2. And that is why. Okay. Now it has become 3 by 2. So now let's do the cross multiplication. This will become 8x minus 5000 is equal to 9x minus 7500. Okay, let's try finding out the value of x. X is equal to 7500 minus 5000 will become 2500. So x is 2500 now. 4 into 2500 is nothing but 10,000. Sorry, 10,000 minus 2500. So Raman is spending this much. Raman's expenditure is this, and 3x. That means 7,500 minus 2,500 is equal to 5,000. So this is the income of Raman, this is the income of Gagan, and this much is the expenditure of Raman, and this much is the expenditure of Gagan. So that's it. I mean, we have found it. Okay. Now let's do one more thing. I'll just an give you a formula, actually few formulas, which will help you solving these things just in no time. Okay. So here, first thing, income of A. Okay. Income of capital A, matlab first person, will be equal to X B minus C by AD minus BC. Income of B will be equal to X B minus C by, sorry, here it is multiplied with A and AD minus BC into B. Okay, now what is A and B? What is D and C? I'm gonna tell you. Do not worry. Okay. Now expen expenses of A is equal to X B minus A by AD minus BC into A. Okay. And expenditures of B are nothing but the same, but just a small difference is there. B. That's it. These are the equations, and that's how we find it out. Okay. Now, what all are ABCD? Now, what all are ABCD? You might be having you might be having a question. So, let me just tell you what all these things are. Okay. So now let's do one thing, that these are the expenses and expenditure. This is A and B, and this is C and D. Okay, and this is X. This much is the amount which they are saving is X. Okay, so D and C are nothing but these things. I mean 3:2, and A and B are 4:3. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That is it. So these are two equations. These are the um, formulas. Now let's get on to the another example which says two numbers are in the ratio of 2:3. If 15 is added to both the numbers, then the ratio between the numbers become 11:14. So find the greater number. So the number was 2x, and what has happened? 15 is added by 3x. The number was 3x, and what is added? 15 is added. So after adding 15, the ratio will become 11/14. So we have to find a greater number, that is 3x. So now, okay. So now what we need to do is, we need to do the cross multiplication and just quickly find this out. Okay. This will become 28x plus 14 into 15 will be giving me answer as, it's 210, which is equal to 33x plus 165. Now let's find this out. This will become 5x is equal to 210 minus 165. 210 minus 165, it will be 45. Okay, so x is equal to 9. From this, x is equal to 9. So the 3x into 9, 3 into 9, sorry, 3x will become 3 into 9, which is equal to 27. So that's how it will, and that's how it will be. Now, just to give you another, another example of it, so let's find out. So if to find the first number, find the first or the last number or the second number, let's do one thing. So A minus BC, let me just write this down, XA. So is the first number. Second number, the second number equal to XB C minus D by AD minus BC. That's it. Okay, these are the formulas. Now let's get on to this wala example, which says two numbers are in the ratio of 3 is to 5 and 9 is subtracted from each. The ratio will become 12 is to 23. To find the greater number, 3x minus 9 by 5x minus 9, which is equal to 12 by 23. Now let's go get on to the examples. Okay, we have to do the cross multiplication. 23 into 3 is 69x minus 207, which is equal to 60x and 108 minus 108. Okay, now let's find this out. 9x is equal to 315. Okay, now 9x is equal to 315. Just a moment. No. This has to be 99 and x is equal to 11. Now 5x is equal to 5 into 11, which is nothing but 55. So that's the number. Now look at this question, which says a sum of rupees 430 has been distributed among 45 people consisting men, women and children. The total amount given to men, women and children are in the ratio of 12 is to 15 is to 16. But the amount received by each man, woman and child are in the ratio of 6 is to 5 is to 4. What each man, women and child receives in rupees. Okay, now look at this. Okay, here I'll just write this down. First, look at this thing. That means this is giving you the personal ratio. Personal shares. It's equal to 6 is to 5 is to 4. Now, they were saying ki amounts, the ratio of the amounts ratio is nothing but 12 is to 15 is to 16. Okay. Now here 45 people. So out of those 45 people, how would we be calculating? I mean, look at this. Okay. Ratio of men, women, and children. So this will become 12 by 6 is to 15 by 5 is to 16 by 4, which is equal to 12 by 6 is 2 is to 3 is to 4. Okay. 12, 2 is to 3 is to 4. Okay. Now let's do the sum of these. 2 plus 3 plus 4. 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay. So sum of these ratios. Okay. Now let's get on to this thing. Next. Okay. 45 men. Number of men is equal to 45 into number of ratios by 9, which is equal to 10. Okay. Number of women is equal to 45 into 3 by 9, which is equal to now 15. Okay. Now number of children is equal to 45 into 4 by 9. This would be 20. Now, okay, number of women, children, and this is how, I mean, this is what we have found. Now let's find out one thing we have to do is we have to divide 430 in the ratio of this amount of ratios. Okay, 430 ko we will be dividing into this ratios. That is, look at this. 12x plus 15x plus 16x, which is equal to 430. Now let's find out how much one is getting. No, wait. Okay, here I'm getting x is equal to 10. So therefore 12x is equal to 120. 15x is equal to 150 and 16x is equal to 160. Okay, now let's do one thing that now we have to find what is the share of each man, women, and children. Okay, each man's share is equal to 120 divided by 10, because we are finding x is equal to 10. So this will become 12. Each women's share is equal to 15, and each child's share is equal to 16. Okay. Sorry, it's not 16. Number of children are, sorry. It's 150 by 15. So number of women's share is this, and this will be rupees 8. Okay. How we have found this? 150 divided by 15. Number of women is equal to this. Number of children, 160 divided by 20 number of children. So each child will get rupees 8, each woman will get rupees 10, and each man will get rupees 12. Okay. So now let's move a little more ahead and find out the last question. Okay, so ratio between number of passenger traveling by first class and second class between two railway station is 1 is to 50. Whereas the ratio of first and the second class fares between the same stations is 3 is to 1. If on a particular day rupees 1325 were collected from the passengers traveling between these stations, then what was the amount collected from the second class passengers? Okay, just a moment. I'll stop share. And we'll share again in just a moment. Okay, now here it is. Okay, so look at this. What are we supposed to do? Let the number of passengers in first class be x, and in second class be 50x. Through this. Okay. Now, if the total amount of first class is 3 is to 1. Okay. So total amount of first class is equal to 3 times of x, and to end of second class will be 50x, because it is 1. Okay. Now the ratio of amount is given. Nahin? No, it's not given. So now will become 3 by 50. Okay. So amount collected will be 3 by 50. Okay. So this will become 3x plus 50x is equal to how much amount was that? So it's 1325. 1325. Okay. Now 53. Okay. 53x is equal to 1325. X is equal to 25. Okay. X is equal to 25. Now, as in we were talking amount collected, what we were supposed to talk, the amount collected from the second class passengers. Okay, let me just copy this and paste this down, which will be equal to how many people were there? 50 people were there into 25, which is nothing but 1250. That's it. That's it. Okay. So now we have found the amount as well, and that is the only thing which we were supposed to find. Okay, now the time is to give you the practice work. I'll be sharing the sheet in the Google Classroom, and you need to practice all of them. Okay, thank you so very much for the day. Thank you.